Simplified milestone plan. This is a slide that we've been using for many, many years. What they have to do is they have to give us a simplified milestone schedule that actually comes from a detailed schedule. So once again, the deliverables are quantified in terms of metrics. Then the milestones, which are simplified, which means non-technical, are put in there. And then they go ahead and identify where there's not enough information. And where there's not enough information, then the expert will identify what they think that information should be. And where they see other stakeholders that they can control, they will identify what they will do to mitigate that risk, right? So by simplifying this and looking ahead here using metrics, we now have how an expert vendor looks ahead, then simplifies it so the actual client can see it. Now, I love this slide also. And I love this slide because all it shows is we started off with initial unique conditions. And we're going to end up with final unique conditions. And all during that time, we're measuring what the actual is against what the expert said they were looking for. Now, this brings in a very important point. I hope everybody agrees with me that, quote, a vendor. Now, I have questions here. Okay, I'm gonna finish explaining this, and then I'm gonna go to the questions. Now, I guess somebody else is monitoring the questions in the chat box besides me. Okay, so if I miss any of these, please get back with me. What I'm looking at here is I'm looking at an expert can probably see it from beginning to end and can probably break it out now, right? And that's you need an expert to do this. But we've discussed this before in previous years. When an expert lays everything out, identifies how this system will work, the expert will get bored if they just have to show up at work and watch what they said was going to happen. And therefore, if an organization truly has one of these experts, they should realize that if they don't make a change in how they treat this expert, the expert won't like sitting in that organization. And so like 4 or 5 years ago, we had a requirement that the expert that the vendor was proposing would have to stay with the project. And a vendor came in and said, well, they're not going to stay with the project, but they will keep track of the project, right? And everybody didn't understand this. They didn't understand how an actual expert acts. Well, what we're saying here is an expert can see it all the way to the end. An expert can set it up. But utilizing an expert now to manage this project is a waste of resources. Well, who should we use? Well, we should use someone who can just see it that far ahead. Is that not okay? It's fantastic. They can see a week. They can see 2 weeks ahead, but they can't see all the way to the end of the project. And that's fine. The organization should use people who are excited about the project, who do their job, who take it from one milestone to the next milestone. They don't need the expert doing that. That's a waste of resources. What am I talking about here? Hopefully, here we have it. What I'm saying is the expert truly can see it all the way to the end. Well, I'm not putting the expert on that. He'll get bored. So I'm taking somebody with less, quote, expertise, who can maybe only see it for a couple weeks. I'm fine with that. Now, how does this work? The way it works is we get back to thinking and making decisions. If that guy on the job who's not as experienced starts thinking, immediately he's in trouble. What they should do if they have a problem that they can't inherently see what the answer is and what is supposed to be done, they should relay that problem to the expert and let the expert quickly address the issue. And that way the expert now helps mentor, quote, the less experienced individual, either less experienced or has less aptitude to see into the future, and that is perfectly fine. It's how an organization identifies and utilizes expertise and aligns their expertise. Now, this gets into something else because in some organizations, they have a lot of people who want to be the expert. And I actually propose this, that if we have experts, they should not be asked to do admin work. They should not be asked to do work that other people could do. They should be utilized as the expert. And there are people in an organization who might feel like this is not fair because they're just as expert as who is identified as an expert. And the only reason we have this problem is that the vendors don't have a way to quickly identify and utilize expertise in their own organization. This actually is a vendor problem. True, it's a client problem, but it actually is a vendor problem because even if the client didn't know what they were doing, the vendor should optimally use this system to identify and utilize the expertise they have and be able to align the expertise they have in their own organization to do their business. So what I'm saying is BVA is, quote, a method of business. It's an operational approach to running an organization, which utilizes, quote, IMT and automation and everything else, but changes the way organizations used to be thinking and working.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel for more content. If you have any questions about the best value approach or for Dr. Dean, leave them in the comment section below and we'll get to them in a later video. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.